do the background is my brother class.
Everybody's not able to come and do what they need to do. So this reminds me of something that I'm experiencing. Teach ahead.
Food structure.
The elephants lose concept. It's more to it's the elephants lose concept. I feel like we're the elephants right now. We're not getting what we really need to do. Some of my virtual students are not getting what this applies to food. Teach ahead. This applies to conscious self. Yeah, who does it apply to? It applies to who? Who is self? Me. Yes, self. It's me. It's me. It applies to me. So just that little bit of passage that we read, or I read to you, this is what I did. Now, Ms. Dudley, how in the world am I gonna put squiggly lines underneath my passage that I'm on the computer? Well, I'm glad you asked. Let's try to figure it out together. So I am going to open up a passage, and this is going to be a passage that you're going to have to use. Like, this is a passage that you're going to have to use like now. So I can unplug. Well, I don't have to unplug it. I'll just change the camera so you can see me again. Because I know how y'all just looking at me to the face.
Okay, so guys, look at this.
All right. I am going to share. This with you. I'm actually going to share it with you in your Schoology because you're going to have to use it in just a few minutes. I'll make this a little bit bigger. Whoa. All right. So I'm reading. Because we're in the virtual world, we may not be able to put a cloud around tricky words. Okay? So I'm here. So let's go ahead and make us a key. Help me make us another key so I can know what our virtual annotation is going to look like. Help me make a key. So before it said draw a cloud around a tricky word. What would you rather do instead of drawing a cloud around a word? Because I can insert something, but then it would take so much. Let me see. It would take a little bit more to add, to put, and you know, you with text like this, you can also make comments on stuff. And so I'm going to show you that too. So how else could I annotate a word that I don't know? How would you want to do it? Because I want us to be able to have the same system. How would you do it? And I'm just looking through here, trying to look for a word that might, and if you see a word on here that you don't know, I want you to go ahead and tell me, Miss Della, let's look at that word. Here go one right here, headland. I don't know what headland means. So, could I change that color? Highlight it and change it to red? Alright, so that's what we'll do. We'll highlight and change the color to red. I feel like we're playing Uno. Change the color to red, and that lets me know that I what? Don't know what this word means. I don't know what that word means. But then, guess what? As I'm reading, because today is going to be one of those days where we're going to take a lot of time because I really want you to do your best. We're going to take a lot of time to make certain that you understand what it is you're doing. So I done found out what headland means. I put my cursor, or I can put my cursor in the middle. And do y'all see this little box right here? like that with the plus sign in the middle. When I hover over it, it says add comment. What do you think is going to happen when I click that button?
You're going to get to add one comment.
I get to add a comment. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to click it, and bam, it gives me, it highlights that word, but it also gives me an opportunity to add a comment. So what is a headland? What is a headland? Y'all did y'all vocabulary illustrations, right? So what is a headland?
A headland is a place with a lot of, it's like a place with rocks, big rocks.
Big rocks. Anybody have anything different? Y'all notice I just typed A, but what do you say?
A headland is a body of land that goes that is very close to like the coastal water.
Okay. So a place. Okay. So he said a place with big rocks. So you said it has what now? A high point of land. Is that what you said?
It's very close to the water.
A place that is close to the water. Okay. Tashawn, you want to add? All right, so headland, high land that is just out into the water. So I mean, I can take that. So after I'm done, I just hit close, and guess what it's done? It's added my comment, and I can go on about my business. I didn't highlight that by going to the highlighter. All I did was change that because what I did was go back and made sense out of what the words were, what it meant. Tyler, what is your question?
Hey, what, guys? Look at this, dude. Look at this.
Okay.
Shit,
So I'm gonna
Roblox
go
too.
down here. I'm right here. As soon as I drew near to it, the leader came to the opening. First thing, let's go to this. First thing I found, which I had forgotten, was a place. It was near Wild Dog's lair. This right here, I would probably add a comment there. And when I add a comment, I might say something as simple as that. I am glad she thought about this because this would have been a bad move considering the wild dog killed her brother. Boom, I'm done. So when I'm reading my passage, all I'm doing is making notes about what's going on to help me better complete what I need to complete. Does this make sense? I'm gonna do this too because
Okay.
I'm
Who? Where? Where?
make
Okay.
sure I make this copy. When I make this copy, I'm gonna have to delete everything I just put in because I gotta send this to y'all. All right. And I don't think any of my comments are in here. All right. So these are comments that I'm making because I feel as though these are the things that are important to me. So what I'm about to do right now, I am going to share this with you. This is going to be shared in your reading. Make sure that I didn't put any. Okay. going to be shared in your reading. Your reading folder.
Black. So red, black, fit on. So black fit on camera.
I'm going to do this is going to be
Black.
alright. I am just creating a copy for you now. You can go inside of your reading. Excuse me. And go ahead and open it up. I want to go back and share one more thing. I know I had a lot of annotation marks. And I know at the beginning I said I want us to use the same thing. But one thing I do want you to I want you to highlight those words that don't make sense to you. Highlight those words in red. Those words that are the words, the tricky words. Make certain that you highlight in red. Where do I go? Who was that? Okay. Did you log out? We are in reading. Go to reading. Go to reading, and you're going to open up a copy of Island of the Blue Dog. So, all right. So for my annotation part, I'm going to tricky words or words I don't know. I'm going to place them in red text. What else am I going to do?
I'm gonna add a comment.
Okay, add comment. Why? What's the purpose of adding a comment? I'm not just going to add a comment just to add a comment. Why am I adding a comment?
To kill everybody.
So you can know the definition of the word.
What if it's not a definition?
You add a comment, like, write a note.
Yo, this is bad at this game.
Okay, so I'm highlighting the word. So if there's a word that has a word, I mean not a word, but if it's a paragraph or something that I'm trying to understand or I want to remember, that's the reason why I'm adding a comment. I'm adding a comment throughout the text to help me better understand what it is that I'm reading. So you remember here when I was reading. And I got here that the first thing I found, which I forgot, was a place near the wild dog's lair. I'm glad she thought about this. I made a note in there because it made sense to me because I I remember her brother at the beginning of the story. Her brother was killed in that by wild dogs. Correct. So therefore, that's the reason why I chose to make that comment. So not only am I making comments about things that I'm reading, but I wanted to help me better understand. And 9 times out of 10, if I'm making a comment about it, I'm going to remember it. What are some other things that we're going to do while we're annotating our text? Underline important messages. Okay? We can underline important ideas. Okay? So I'm going to be looking for you to do that. And if you underline something, not necessarily meaning you have to go and give me a reason why you underline it, but if you underline it, as long as it makes sense to you, I want it to make sense. So when you are reading, I need you to be purposeful, okay? When you are reading, I want you to be purposeful. I want you to do something even like this first paragraph. If you look at this first paragraph right here, and I read this first paragraph, the Isle of the Blue Dolphin was my home. I'm going to make it a little bigger to make sure if you're looking at my screen so you can see what it is I'm doing. The Isle of the Blue Dolphin was my home. I had no other. It would be my home until the white men returned in their ship. But even if they came soon before next summer, I could not live without a roof or a place to store my food. I would have to build a house. But where? What should be my thought there? What is it that I just read from that one paragraph? Go ahead, Mario. Say again. I didn't speak up. I can't understand. Okay, so she's living outside. Give me somebody else. Give me something else that you pulled just from that little bit of passage. I'm activating your brain right now. Does she don't have a house? Why? Because all her life. Well, do we know why she don't have a house? Hey, check this out, Taylor. Watch this. Watch this. I would have to build a house. I'm going to highlight this whole thing and add a comment. She don't have a house? Question mark. I wonder why. You see that? Yeah. So what that just did was force my curiosity to try to figure out what? How come she ain't got a house? I wonder what happened. Now I'm being forced to think about stuff that happened that caused her to be without the house. It could be something you later go back and read about. You know, you might be able to pick back up what happened. But at least you're activating your brain and not just reading. I want y'all to read. I want y'all to be nosy when you read. I want to know why she ain't got a house. Like y'all know what I mean by when I say be nosy. I want you to be nosy. Try to think about why the author wrote what he wrote and how he or she wrote it. What do you mean they don't have a house? Where they gonna live? Well, she gotta figure that out. So once again, I can go paragraph by paragraph and pull out the importance of each paragraph. What did I read? What was the big idea in each paragraph? So that's something else I can do. Pull out the important detail or message